Ladies and gentlemen, good morning.
欢迎出席中国人民抗日战争暨世界反法西斯战争胜利80周年纪念活动新闻中心首场记者招待会。根据纪念活动安排，9月3日上午将在北京天安门广场隆重举行纪念中国人民抗日战争暨世界反法西斯战争胜利80周年大会，包括检阅部队。习近平总书记将发表重要讲话。中午在北京举行招待会，习近平总书记将发表重要讲话。当晚在北京举行文艺晚会，党和国家领导人将出席。有关安排此前已做过详细介绍。今天我们非常高兴邀请到外交部部长助理洪磊先生、
Assistant Foreign Minister Hong Lei, Vice Minister of Culture and Tourism Lu Yingchuan, Major General Wu Zeke, Deputy Director of the Leading Group Office of the Military Parade and Deputy Director General of the Operations Bureau of the Joint Staff Department of the Central Military Commission, and Deputy Mayor of Beijing Municipality Xia Lingmao. They will give you an update on the latest preparation of the commemoration and take your questions. Now I'll give the floor to Assistant Foreign Minister Hong Lei. Thank you. Friends from the media, good morning. In a few days, we'll hold a grand commemoration of the 80th anniversary of the victory of the Chinese People's War of Resistance against Japanese aggression and the World Anti-Fascist War. 80 years ago, the Chinese people, after 14 years of tenacious struggle, shedding blood and sacrificing lives, won the great victory of the War of Resistance against Japanese aggression and declared the complete victory of the World Anti-Fascist War. China's War of Resistance started the earliest and lasted the longest. China held the ground in the main eastern battlefield of the World Anti-Fascist War with enormous national sacrifice. China's War of Resistance is an important part of the World Anti-Fascist War and made historic contributions to its victory. Now, the Chinese People's War of Resistance against Japanese aggression has also received extensive support from the international community. The victory is a victory for the Chinese people. It is also a victory for the people of the world. Now, at the invitation of President Xi Jinping, 26 foreign heads of state and government will attend the commemoration. They are President of Russia Vladimir Putin, General Secretary of the Workers' Party of Korea and President of the State Affairs of the DPRK Kim Jong-un, King of Cambodia Norodom Sihamoni, President of Vietnam Leung Trung, General Secretary of the Central Committee of the Lao People's Revolutionary Party, Thongloun Sisulit, President of Indonesia, Prabowo Subianto, Prime Minister of Malaysia, Anwar Ibrahim, President of Mongolia, Uknajin Kurulesuk, Prime Minister of Pakistan, Shehbaz Sharif, Prime Minister of Nepal, KP Sharma Oli, President of the Maldives, Mohammad Muizzu, President of Kazakhstan, Kassym-Jomart Tokayev, President of Uzbekistan, Shavkat Mirziyoyev, President of Tajikistan, Emomali Rahmon, President of Kyrgyzstan, Sadi Japarov, President of Turkmenistan, Serdar Berdimuhamedov, President of Belarus, Alexander Lukashenko, President of Azerbaijan, Ilham Aliyev, President of Armenia, Vakhtang Khashmyan, President of Iran, Masoud Pezeshkian, President of the Republic of the Congo, Denis Sassou, President of Zimbabwe, Emerson Mnangagwa, President of Serbia, Alexander Vučić, Prime Minister of Slovakia, Robert Fico, First Secretary of the Communist Party of Cuba Central Committee and President of Cuba, Miguel Diaz-Canel Bermudez, and Acting President of Myanmar, Min Aung Hlaing. At the invitation of the Chinese government, the speakers, deputy prime ministers, high-level representatives from other countries, and the heads of international and regional organizations and the former statesmen will also attend the commemoration. The speakers and deputy prime ministers include Speaker of the National Assembly of the ROK, Wu Wang-shik, Speaker of the National Parliament of Timor-Leste, Maria Fernanda Ley, President of the National Assembly of Venezuela, Jorge Rodriguez Gomez, Deputy Prime Minister of Singapore, Gan Kim-yong, Special Envoy of the President of Egypt and Deputy Prime Minister for Industrial Affairs, Kamel El-Wazir, Chairman of the Bulgaria Socialist Party and Deputy Prime Minister of Bulgaria, Atanas Zafirov. The high-level representatives include Chief Advisor to the Brazilian President, Celso Amorim, the representative of the Brazilian government and ambassador to China, Marcos Galvo, representative of the Nicaraguan government and President's advisor, Laureano Ortega Muelo, government representative of Hungary and Foreign Minister of Hungary, Peter Cizarotto, Major General Hazaimi, Commander of the Royal Brunei Armed Forces, representative of Interim Government of Bangladesh and National Security Advisor Khaligur Rahman, Laid Rabiga, Minister of War Veterans and Rights Holders of Algeria and Member of the European Parliament, Andrei Dostal. The heads of international and regional organizations include Under-Secretary General Li Junhua of the UN, Director General Chu Dongyu of the UNFAO, President Dilma Rousseff of the New Development Bank, President Jin Liqun of the Asian Infrastructure Investment Bank, Shanghai Cooperation Organization Secretary General Nurlan Yermakbayev, SICA Secretary General Karat Saribay, Secretary General of Commonwealth of Independent States Sergei Lebediev, Secretary General of Collective Security Treaty Organization Kazmagam Bedov, and Chairman of the Eurasian Economic Commission Board Sajin Tayev. The former statesmen include the former Prime Minister of Japan, Yukio Hatoyama, the former President of the Swiss Federation and Minister of Finance, Ulrich Morer, former Prime Minister of Belgium, Yves Leterme, the former Prime Minister of Greece, Giorgio Papandreou, former Prime Minister of Italy, Massimo D'Alema, former Prime Ministers of Romania, Adrian Nastase and Victoric Dansila, former Prime Ministers of New Zealand, Helen Clark, and John Key, former Foreign Minister of Australia, Robert Carr, and former Premier of the Victoria State of Australia, Daniel Andrews. Also, the foreign diplomatic envoys in China, the military attachés, and the representatives of international organizations in China will also attend the commemoration upon invitation. We have also specifically extended invitation to the international friends who have contributed to the Chinese People's War of Resistance against Japanese aggression and their families. Altogether, we have the 50 friends, international friends, and their families from 14 countries, including Russia, US, UK, France, and Canada, will attend the celebration. During the tenacious struggle, the international friends with different skin colors, different nations, and different nationalities have traveled such a long distance to China and fought side by side with the Chinese people. They have forged profound friendship with the Chinese people, a friendship that is tested by blood and fire and by life and death. The Chinese nation is a grateful nation that values friendship. We will forever remember their indomitable spirit, their selfless devotion, and their noble character. Now, the international situation is going through changes and a lot of turbulence. There is a rise in the peace deficit, and we still have a formidable task in safeguarding world peace. The theme for our celebration, for the commemoration, is to remember history, honor the fallen heroes, cherish peace, and create a better future. The Chinese people will stand with people all over the world to firmly defend the outcomes of the victory of World War II, safeguard the UN-centered international system, and the international order underpinned by international law. We will work for the building of a community with a shared future for humanity and contribute to the noble cause of safeguarding peace and promoting development of humanity. Thank you. Thank you. I now give the floor to Minister Lu Yingchuan.
Friends from the media, good morning. Entrusted by the leading group on the evening gala, I will now brief you on the work on the gala. It will be held on the evening of September the 3rd, 2025, at the Great Hall of the People. It is an evening gala to commemorate the 80th anniversary of the victory of the Chinese People's War of Resistance against Japanese aggression and the World Anti-Fascist War. Leaders of the party and the country, veterans who fought in the war, other senior comrades, representatives of recipients of medals and honors, as well as of people from various communities at the primary level will attend the gala. The gala is jointly organized and implemented by the Publicity Department of the CPC Central Committee, the Ministry of Culture and Tourism, the China Media Group, and the Political Work Department of the Central Military Commission and Beijing Municipality. We have put together the finest artists and gone all out in making preparations. Now we are in the final stages of putting together the gala. We will strive to bring you a splendid, solemn, simple, inspiring, and profound gala to commemorate the 80th anniversary from the cultural and artistic front. Let me now share with you some details. First, in terms of the expression of the theme, this evening gala is themed on remembering the past, honoring fallen heroes, cherishing peace, and embracing the future. Its main trend is the important historical juncture and scenes of the main Eastern battlefield in the World Anti-Fascist War, and it showcases the role of the Communist Party of China as a pillar in the nationwide struggle. It pays tribute to the revolutionary heroes who fought bravely during the war, and showcases China's firm position of safeguarding world peace and security. It tells the eternal truth that justice, peace, and the people will ultimately prevail. It not only presents 14 years of the Chinese people's resistance war, but also shows some very touching moments and glorious chapters during the War of Resistance. The gala covers the past as well as the present. It pays tribute to historical figures and events and shows our aspiration and vision for China in the new era moving forward. It not only depicts the Chinese people fighting bravely toward the end and defending justice, but also displays their pursuit of a better life and sings the 80 years' praises. It will inspire the great patriotism of the people. Second, in terms of artistic expression, we strive to tell good stories through an artistic lens as we bring to you a grand historical narrative. Emphasis is given to the role of drama to present an epic style. Through multiple means, such as music, dance, and situational drama, we strive to bring you the sentiments of the Chinese people toward this episode in history. We make good use of stage performance, multimedia, 3D audio, among other expressive means, to create a synergistic effect of artistic expression and bring many touching moments from history. By doing so, artistic expressiveness, visual impact, and emotional penetration is enhanced. We hope that be it for people who lived through this historical episode or those who reflect deeply upon it in the new era, they can all have a lot to gain from the splendid performance. Third, at the last press conference, I mentioned that as we design and direct this gala, we gave full play to the role of young cultural and art professionals in terms of directing, music, and composition. Some young artists born in the 1980s have become the main drivers. And in terms of selection of actors, some post-90s and even millennial professionals are taking the lead. I'm sure that from this gala, you will be able to see how these very young, passionate, and vibrant workers pay their tribute to this history. Thank you. Thank you. We have recently held a press conference on the preparations for the military parade. If interested, you can go to Mr. Wu Zeke and raise your questions to him. Now we give the floor to Mr. Xia.
Friends from the press, good morning. The grand commemorative activities marking the 80th anniversary of the victory of the Chinese People's War of Resistance against Japanese aggression and the World Anti-Fascist War is an important event in the political calendar of this year. Beijing is the host city of this commemoration. And under the leadership of the leading group, we have been striking for perfection and ensuring no loose ends. We have been going all out in our preparation work. We will work with relevant departments and formulate plans for 35 key areas with intensive studies. We have organized 3 comprehensive drills and many specialized drills, through which we continue to optimize our preparational work to ensure that we are in the best spirit and best shape to welcome the commemoration and make sure it's a success. Now I'm ready to brief you on the relevant work. First, we stick to traditions while making innovations. We meticulously arranged the setup of the commemoration venue, building on previous experiences of hosting big events and sticking closely to the theme of remembering history, honoring fallen heroes, cherishing peace, and creating a better future. We have arranged the signs of years, the reviewing stands, and LED screens, very properly in a science-based manner in the Tiananmen Square, which you might be able to see when you go past the Tiananmen Square. We do this to make sure that these arrangements are in line with the surrounding environment and buildings, so that they can not only accentuate the majestic and solemn atmosphere of the commemoration, but also showcase the great victory of the national spirit with the patriotism at its core. In order to allow more opportunities for on-site viewing, we have put up ad hoc reviewing stands and make sure that these viewing stands are deployed at places as close to the Chang'anjie Street as possible to give the people the best viewing experiences. Second, we cooperated proactively to provide support for the commemoration. We worked actively to meet the requirements of the inspected troops and work efficiently and meticulously on providing relevant support. We have went all out to ensure the successful creation and rehearsal of the evening gala and arrange professionals and staff at venues and commemoration facilities who will provide counseling and guidance services for the people. We have also selected many warm-hearted and well-trained volunteers from over 30 higher institutions in Beijing who will provide timely and thoughtful volunteering services in key locations during the commemoration to showcase the welcoming image of Beijing. Third, we have worked to create and present a harmonious and beautiful urban environment. Building on our relevant urban environment improvement work, we have made even greater efforts to improve people's living environment. 920 narrow alleyways have been improved, and alongside the Chang'anjie Street, 10 sets of flower beds are arranged, which you also might be able to see. We also organized the building of 5 landscape bridges and areas with Chinese roses, and we have worked to create more scenes of garden cities that are tangible to people. We've also conducted air pollution prevention campaigns. During the first 7 months of this year, the air quality has been at its best. We have made all efforts to ensure that these operations do not disturb the people or disturb them as little as possible, minimize the traffic control, the time and the length, and to give out notice in advance to ensure the smooth operation of the activity and normal social order. Fourth, we work to promote the spirit of the war of resistance and create an enthusiastic social atmosphere. For the people to have a more deeper understanding of the history, we have held a series of themed exhibitions and have put on new exhibitions in the Museum of the Chinese People's War of Resistance Against Japanese Aggression to higher standards. To this day, already 580,000 people have made visits to this exhibition, during which 1,525 photos, 3,237 artifacts, and 45 historical video clips were exhibited. Many of these photos, relics, and videos are published for the first time, through which we have comprehensively demonstrated and illustrated the glorious process of the 14th years of war of resistance. We also organized a series of public commemorative activities, roll out a series of media coverage and artworks to depict the tremendous changes that happened in our country in the past 80 years since the victory, so that the atmosphere for promoting the great spirit of the war of resistance is better enhanced. Fifth, we have worked and coordinated with relevant departments to ensure urban security and stability. We made sure that security is the first political requirement and implement various kinds of security and safety measures in letter and in words, and enhance social security and crack down on all kinds of illegal and criminal activities. We organize and conduct safe production campaign and eliminate risks in key areas and key positions, and work closely, resolutely to prevent safe production accidents to ensure the security of the commemoration. I'd also like to thank you for your understanding. There is still some time leading up to the commemoration. The Beijing municipality will organize and do all our work well to the highest standard with the most concrete measures. We believe that with the strong leadership of the CPC Central Committee and with the concerted effort of the entire society, the commemoration activity will surely be a great success. Thank you. Thank you for Mr. Xia's introduction. Now we are moving forward to the Q&A session. Please identify your media affiliation before you raise your questions. The press briefing will have a simultaneous interpretation provided, and the question raised in English will be translated into Chinese first. Now please raise your questions.
最靠过道的，对，南区第3排最靠过道这位女记者，对。
谢谢主持人，总台央视记者提问。那么刚才呢，已经宣布了参加本次纪念活动的外方嘉宾的名单。
CGTN, now you have announced the name list of the foreign dignitaries attending the commemoration. What are the features of the participation of foreign dignitaries? Well, there are 3 features in terms of the participation of foreign dignitaries. First, high-level participation. Now, we have many foreign heads of state and government attending, which shows that the countries attach high importance to China's holding of the commemoration and their friendship towards the Chinese people. Second, the participation is highly representative. We have the participation from the 5 continents across the world, and that shows the international community has wide recognition of the China's contribution and the world significance. Third, extensive participation. We have government representatives, and we also have people from the non-government sector. The many international friends or their families are household names in China, and some of them attended the commemoration of the 70th anniversary 10 years ago. We warmly welcome them to China, to Beijing, to together commemorate the 80th anniversary of the victory of the Chinese People's War of Resistance against Japanese aggression and the World Anti-Fascist War. Thank you.
这边第1排这位男记者，对，
好，谢谢。人民日报社记者提问。
With People's Daily, this past May, President Xi Jinping attended the celebration of the 80th anniversary of the Great Patriotic War in Russia, and President Putin will also come here for the upcoming celebration. China and Russia are respectively the main battlefield in the East and in Asia and Europe, made historic contributions to the victory of the World Anti-Fascist War. What message do you want to send through these arrangements? 80 years ago, China and the former Soviet Union, as the main battlefield in Asia and Europe, were the central pillars in fighting against militarism and fascism. Both have made enormous national sacrifices in the war. The people of the 2 countries have fought side by side and extended each other support and saved their respective nations and the future of humanity. Both have made decisive contributions to the victory of the World Anti-Fascist War. This past May, President Xi Jinping paid a state visit to Russia upon invitation and attended the commemoration of the 80th anniversary of the victory of the Great Patriotic War. President Xi Jinping reached a lot of important consensus with President Putin, and together sent the strong message that the history of World War II must not be distorted, the outcomes of the victory of World War II must not be denied, and the post-war international order must not be challenged. Now, President Putin is coming to China for the commemoration that demonstrates the high-level nature of the comprehensive strategic partnership of coordination for the new era between the two countries, and also demonstrates the solidarity of the two countries in defending the victory outcomes of World War II. This year also marks the 80th anniversary of the founding of the United Nations. Now, in the face of the changing and turbulent international situation, China and Russia, as founding members of the United Nations and permanent members of the UN Security Council, will continue to work together to safeguard the authority of the UN and international fairness and justice. At multilateral frameworks like the UN, the Shanghai Cooperation Organization, and BRICS, we will coordinate to practice true multilateralism and work together to create a brighter future for humanity. Thank you.
好，请继续提问。好，这边吧，北区第2排这位女记者。
谢谢主持人。香港大公文汇传媒集团记者提问：阅兵是这次纪念活动的重要组成部分，目前还有不到1周的时间，能否具体介绍一下准备工作的最新进展？谢谢。
brief us on the latest development?
谢谢你的提问。
Thank you for your question.
这次阅兵作为中国人民抗日战争
This parade
暨世界反
is
法
an
西斯战
important
争胜利
component
80
part
周年
of the
纪
commemorative
念活动的
activities
重要
of
组
the
成部分。
80th anniversary of the victory of the Chinese People's War of Resistance against Japanese aggression and the World Anti-Fascist War,
武器装
featuring
备数量多，
complete
初次
participation
亮相，
factors,
占比高，
systematic composition,
是进入
multiple
新时代新征程
weaponries,
人民军
and
队
many
政治建军
debuts.
新风貌，
It is
力量结构新布局
a，
现代化
great
建设新进展，
demonstration of the
备
People's
战打仗
Army's
新成效的一次集中展示。
new spirits following the CPC's leadership,
对于
new
纪念抗
structure
战伟大
of
胜
its
利，弘
forces,
扬抗战
and
伟
new
大精神，
progress in its modernization, as well as new efficacy in its combat preparation. It has carries important political significance and cultural meaning in commemorating the victory of the War of Resistance and promoting the spirit of the War of Resistance. So far, we have already completed 3 comprehensive
全
drills,
体受阅部队
hitting
精
relevant
神饱满
targets
士气高昂，
overall.
所有参与
All
武
of the
器装备
inspected troops
始终
are in
保
high
持
spirits.
良好状态。
All of
阅
the
兵准备基本
weaponries
就
to be
绪，
inspected are in
已
good
经进
shape.
入倒计时。
Everything is ready, and we're
让我
now
们共同期
counting
待
down towards the
9月
day.
3日
Let us
正式
jointly
亮相。
expect and look forward
我
to
们坚
the
信
formal event on
在
September
党
the
中央、
3rd.
中央
We
军委
are
和习
convinced
主席
that
的坚
under
强领导下，
the strong leadership of the
全体
CPC
受阅
Central
官兵
Committee, the
一
Central
定能
Military
够
Commission, and President Xi Jinping,
不辱
all
使
of the
命，
officials
不负重
and
托，
soldiers to be inspected
向
will live
全
up
国
to
人
their
民
missions
和
and people's
全世界人民
expectations
奉献一场
and
弘
present
扬抗战精神、
a
体
ground
现时代特
military
色、
parade
具有大国气派的
that can promote the spirit of the war of resistance, showcase the features of the times to the whole people of all country and the world at large.
中区对这位女记者。
好，谢谢主持人。新华社记者提问：朝鲜最高领导人将出席中国人民抗日战争暨世
The
界
top
反法西斯
leader
战争
of the
胜利
DPRK will attend the commemoration.
中方如何看待
How
朝鲜最
does
高领导人
China
此行
view this?
外交部。
China and the DPRK are friendly neighbors connected by mountain. We warmly welcome General Secretary Kim Jong-un to China to attend the commemoration. Now, this year marks the 80th anniversary of the victory of the Chinese People's War of Resistance against Japanese aggression and the World Anti-Fascist War. It also marks the 80th anniversary of the liberation of the DPRK. And in the long and hard fight, the people of the two countries have extended each other support and together fought against Japanese aggression, making important contribution to the World Anti-Fascist War and the just cause of humanity. To safeguard, consolidate, and develop the traditional friendship between China and the DPRK is the firm position of the CPC and the Chinese government. China stands ready to work with the DPRK to continue to strengthen exchanges and cooperation and advance socialist development. We'll continue to have close coordination on promoting peace and stability of the region and on safeguarding international fairness and justice. We'll continue to write a new chapter of the traditional friendship between the two countries. Thank you.
好，请继续提问。好，这边吧，第3排这位外国记者。对。
Prensa Latina from Cuba. Among the foreign dignitaries attending the commemorative events, many are leaders from Global South countries. What is China's view on this? Thank you.
请翻译一下。
古巴拉美通信社。参加今年纪念活动的外方嘉宾政要中，有不少来自全球南方国家的领导人。请问中方对此怎么看？谢谢。
好，请外交部。
中国人民抗日战争胜利。
The victory of the Chinese People's War of Resistance against Japanese aggression is the first time that the Chinese people had secured complete victory in the national liberation. In modern times, it gives a lot of inspiration, confidence, and courage for the semi-colonial and colonial the countries under colonial rule who have suffered repression and aggression. We have given them enormous courage. It's the victory of the Chinese people. It's also a victory for people in the global south. Now, 80 years on today, gone are the days when a few countries decide the destiny of other countries, dominate international affairs, and monopolize the development advantages. Now, the rise of the global south countries are changing the world landscape fundamentally. Over the past 40 years, the GDP of the global south has increased from 24 to more than 40. In the past 20 years, the global south contribution to world GDP growth has been as high as 80%. Now, more and more global south countries have hosted the BRICS Summit, the APEC Economic Leaders Meeting, G20 Summit, and sent a resounding voice of the Global South and left an indelible mark of the Global South. Now, the Global South countries are no longer the silent majority or a group of countries that are lagging behind. Rather, the Global South countries represent the new hope as the world goes through the changes unseen in a century. 80 years ago, in the desperate fight between justice and evil, peace-loving people across the world stood together and forged a united front against fascism. They defeated the barbaric aggressors and won world peace, also laying an important foundation for the post-war international order. Now, today, 80 years on, China stands ready to work with all global south countries to work for an equal and orderly multipolar world and a universally beneficial and inclusive economic globalization, and work together for world peace, development, and progress. Thank you.
好，请继续提问。好，这边吧，倒数第2排。北区，对，这位女记者。
谢谢主持人。北京青年报记者提问，想问一下北京市，那在此次纪念活动的筹备和举办过程当中，北京市要如何体现抗战历史与城市文化的结合？都采取了哪些措施来增强市民对抗战历史的铭记与传承意识？谢谢。
What measures are taken to improve people's awareness to carry forward and remember the history of war resistance? Thank you for your question. The Beijing municipality is the center of culture in China and also a city with great history and culture. To better combine the history of war resistance and the urban culture and better help our people remember history and promote the spirit of war resistance is very important. We have done the relevant work. First is to hold relevant themed exhibition to high standards. Like I just mentioned in the briefing, we took only 8 months in putting up in renovating the museum of the People's War of Resistance Against Japanese Aggression and have put up new exhibitions. The exhibition area has increased from 6,700 square meters to 12,200 square meters. We have put on the exhibition themed on for national liberation and world peace. Like I just said, the exhibition features a large number of precious historical artifacts and videos, as well as photos, many of which are released to the public for the first time. From July the 8th to today, overall, 580,000 people have visited the exhibition. More than 3,000 coverages has been reported on the exhibition, and more than 60,000 articles online has been posted. Last week, I myself also went to the exhibition, which is of really high quality, and I learned a lot from the exhibition. So I like to welcome our friends from the press to visit that museum should you have the time. Second, we have refurbished and improved the conditions of 3 revolutionary cultural areas. And these areas focus on the theme of the founding of the party, the war of resistance, and the founding of New China. It has connected separate historical sites. We have carried out on-site surveys of 160 war resistance commemorative facilities and original sites. In the Beijing Jiaozhuanghu Tunnel Welfare Museum, the National Botanical Garden December the 9th Movement Memorial Place, and the Museum for the Revolutionary Song Without the CBC, There Would Be No China, have been renovated and reopened to the public. These places have quickly become a hit for patriotic education. Also following these arrangements, we have also carried out comprehensive revolutionary relics survey and identified 188 immovable revolutionary artifacts and 2,646 sets of movable ones. The Shuangqing Villa has been designated as the key cultural site protected at the national level, and 16 other revolutionary cultural sites, including the Zhao Dengyu General Tomb, is identified as cultural site protected at the municipal level. We will work harder to discover more educational sites that tell good stories. Third, we have rolled out a series of good and high-quality artworks, including making the film of Dongji Rescue and the TV series of Returning to the Rank, among others. There's also a newly composed modern opera, Peking opera by the Jingju Theater Company of Beijing, and also the book series on the War of Resistance in Beijing by the Beijing Publishing Group, and also our commemoration in Lugouqiao, the 6-episode documentary by the Beijing Radio and Television Station. The Beijing Radio and Television Station has aired a documentary themed for national liberation and world peace on August the 15th, which ranked the first in terms of viewership. among the provincial television's special programs. Fourth, we have organized a series of public commemorative activities. We released themed plans for education and promotion. We organized activities like laying wreath, honoring commemorative facilities. We've organized the activities for university students to commemorate the 80th anniversary of their victory. We've also organized and motivated 800,000 of middle school and primary school students to participate in the trips to 7 roots of revolutionary cultures. And we also create websites online to commemorate the event and organize online Q&A contests through which we can better honor the heroes and create a good public atmosphere. Thank you.
好，第一排。对，南区第3位，对，这位女记者。
谢谢主持人。雅祖新闻台提问 ：Some analysts are saying that this military parade and other anniversary events are not only commemorative, they're also saying that Beijing is using this occasion to showcase its growing strength. What message is China hoping to send to the international community with this display?
好的，请翻译一下。
新加坡亚洲新闻台。分析人士认为，9月3日的阅兵式和其他周年纪念活动不仅具有纪念意义，也是中国展示其日益增强实力的机会。中国希望通过此次展示向国际社会传递什么信息？
请外交部。
爱好和平，融入中华
Love
民
for
族的血
peace
脉。
is in the lifeblood of the Chinese
中国人民
nation.
饱受
The Chinese people have suffered deeply from the invasions of imperial powers, which is why they value so much hard-won peace. We hold the military parade to show
走和平发展道路的坚定
our
决心，
firm determination
捍卫
to
国家
pursue
主权
the path of
和
peaceful
领土完
development,
整的
our
坚强
strong
意志
will to defend
维护
national
世界和平的
sovereignty and
强大
territorial
能力
integrity, and our great capability to
在和平
safeguard
和
world
安全的地
peace
上
and tranquility.
中国
In
是
terms
世界
of
上
peace
记
and
录最好的大
security,
国
China has the best track
经过
record
成立以来
among all the major countries of
中
the
国
world.
从未
Since the
挑起过
founding of the
一场
People's Republic
战
of
争
China, our country has never
从未侵
waged
占过
a single war,
别国的
never
一寸
encroached upon an inch of foreign land,
从来没有发动过代理人
and
战争，
never engaged or never started
是
a
将
proxy
走和
war.
平发展道路写入宪法的唯一大
We are the only major country to write peaceful development path into our
安理会当中
constitution.
在联合国安理会常任理事国当中，
And among the permanent members
我们
of the
派
UN
出的
Security Council,
维和战士
we
最
contribute
多
the largest number of peacekeepers.
中国还提出了全球
China
安全
has also put forward the Global Security Initiative,
综合
advocating
合作
the vision of
和持续的
common,
安全观，
comprehensive, cooperative,
为全
and
球
sustainable
安全秩序
security, thus providing a
相关问题的
pathway
解决
for
提供了
resolving
实践路径。
security deficit.
中国力量的增长
The growth of China's
将为
strength
维护世界和平
will contribute
提供更多的正
more
能量。
positive energy for world peace.
无论发展到什么
No
程度，
matter what level of development China reaches,
不扩张，
we will never seek
不搞
hegemony,
军备竞赛，
expansion,
坚
or
定
arms
做
race.
这个世界的和
We
平
will
力量、
firmly be
稳定力量。
a force for
进步力
peace,
量。
stability, and progress in the world.
我们愿同世界各国
We
一道，
stand ready to work with all countries
为实现世
to
界的
make
持久和平发
relentless
展
efforts
做
for
出
enduring
积极的贡
peace
献。
and development of the world.
谢谢。
Thank you.
好，请继续提问。好，中间吧，中区第2排这位记者，对。
谢谢，我是封面新闻记者。刚才卢部长在
Cover
介绍
news.
文艺演出的时候
Minister
提到
Lu
本
just
场晚
told
会
us,
将由年
when
轻一
briefing
代
us
的
on
文
the
艺工作
evening
者
gala,
全面担当
that
主
the
理。
younger
想请问
generation
能否
of
介绍
cultural
相
and
关情
artistic
况？那么这
workers
样做的
will
安
take
排
the
如何考
lead.
虑呢？谢谢。
What are the considerations for such an arrangement?
谢谢您的关注啊。
Thank you for your
本次
attention
文艺
to
晚
our
会
work.
主创团队，
Indeed,
我们是首次
the leading
启动了
team of the evening
80后
gala,
年轻艺术家担任总
we
导演
have
同时呢，也有大批90
a
后的
post-80s young artist serving as the chief director, and a large number of post-90s young directors involved in the creation. Although these artistic creators are young, a lot of them have very excellent work in stage art, which are much loved by the audience. These young artists have many innovative approaches to deepening artistic form and the fusion of artistic expressions. Their work makes this evening gala artistically appealing and emotionally stirring.
在演员方面呢，
In terms of
本场晚会
the
以
actors and
文艺
actresses,
院团的年轻演员和艺术
they
院校
are
的
mainly
学生
composed of young artists
00后的
from
演
arts
员
troupes
在
and students
参演
from
人员
arts
中的比例
academies. Those
超过了
born
50%。
after 2000
参加
account
这
for
种
over
贵格的文艺演
50%
出
of all
对于
performers.
年轻一代
To be
文艺
able
工
to
作者来说
participate in a gala of
这是一次
such a scale
展现
is not
风
only
采的机会，
an
也
opportunity
是一
to
次
showcase their
重要
talent,
的艺
but
术实践。
also an
大
important
家都普遍反
practice.
映，通过参加
These young
排演
artists tell
不
us
仅
that
收获了一次
their
难得的艺术提
participation
升，
in this gala
同
is
时
not
也经历了
only
一次
a rare
爱国
artistic
主义教育的
enhancement for them,
思想
but
淬炼。
also a profound patriotic
在排演过程
education.
中，年轻一
During
代
the
文艺工作者
rehearsals,
们
we
用更
found
加
that
多元
these
的艺术
young
表现形式，
artists are able to make use of
更加
more
灵动的
diversified means
舞台
of
装置变
artistic
化，
expression,
更
more
加
dynamic
丰富
stage
的
installations,
情感力量内蕴，
and
全心付
demonstrate
出
an
精益求
enriched
精，
sense of the
使传
power
统艺
of
术和
sentiment.
现代表达
Their
相
work
得益彰，
gives
相互
rise
成
to
就。
greater
应该说，
complementarity between
从
traditional
文艺演
art
出
and modern
呈现的
expression.
效果来看，
I believe the gala
非常
is
值得
something
大家期
for
待。
all of us to
谢
look
谢。
forward to.
好，
Thank
请
you.
继续提问。好，给后排一个机会吧，后面倒数第3排是吧？就是这个记者，对对对，这位戴眼镜儿的，对。
谢谢凤凰卫视记者提问。我的问题是关于日本方面的。
Phoenix News. My question is about Japan. We understand that within Japan there is a lot of attention on the commemoration. Some believe that China is using historical issues to pressure Japan and disrupt their narrative of World War II. And in recent years, some forces in Japan have sought to remove restrictions on its military and to distort its historical truth, to paint themselves as a victim of war. What is your comment? Defending historical truth and upholding a correct historical perspective is a matter of human conscience, of international justice, and of world peace. Whether or not Japan has the right understanding of and approach to history is a litmus test for whether it can uphold conscience and stand by its commitment to peaceful development. Within Japan, there has all along been some forces that try to deny aggression and glorify aggression, seeking to distort history and even to honor the war criminals and justify their crimes. This constitutes a challenge to the post-war international order, a challenge to human conscience, and a challenge to all peace-loving people. In recent years, Japan has also drastically adjusted its security policy, increased its defense budget by the year, and continued to ease restrictions on arms exports, seeking a breakthrough in military development. Naturally, this arouses the strong skepticism of its Asian neighbors and the international community as to whether Japan is genuinely committed to exclusively defense-oriented policy and to peaceful development. As we mark the 80th anniversary of the victory of the Chinese People's War of Resistance against Japanese aggression and the World Anti-Fascist War, Japan once again faces questions about its past and present. We urge Japan to face history squarely, to reflect deeply upon its criminal liability of aggression, make a clean break with militarism, and pursue the right path of peaceful development, good neighborliness, and friendship. Thank you.
好，请继续提问。好，时间关系，我们最后一个问题吧。好，这边一直在举。好，这位女记者，对，第一排穿白衣服的。对。
谢谢主持人，澎湃新闻记者提问。我的问题是关于北京的。那么，作为活动的主会场，北京市在环境布置、演练组织等方面采取了哪些措施来平衡活动的隆重性和市民的日常生活正常秩序？
ensuring people's normal life.
的提问。
Thank you for your question.
做好纪念活动的服务保障，是北
Providing
京市的
support
光荣的使命。
for the commemoration is a glorious mission of the Beijing municipality.
那么从纪念活动筹
And
备
we
一开
attach great
始，
importance to it.
我们就把
Ever
做
since
好
the
服
very
务保障工
beginning,
作
we have
和
been trying to strike a
提升
balance
城市化
between
经济管
providing
理
support for the
有机结
commemoration
合起来，
and improving the targeted
既
urban
全力营
management
造一致
so
恢
that
宏，
we
庄
can
重
not
大
on
气
one
的
hand
纪念活
create
动氛围，
majestic and solemn atmosphere for
又
the
尽我们
commemorative
最大
event
可能的去减
while
少对市
minimizing
民正常
its impact
生产
on
生活
people's
的
normal life
干扰和
and
影响。
production.
大家也注意到了首先一个我们进行了环
You
境
may have
整治和
noticed
绿化
that
美化。
firstly, our
扣
work
纪念
has
活动的
centered
主
on
题，
improving the
按照
environment
主题
and
鲜
greening
明、
the areas.
庄严庄重、
We
简
have
洁安全的
stuck
原则
closely
呢，
to the theme of the
在长安
commemorative
街
activity
完成了长安街道路
and have
铺整
completed
33万平方
the
米，
pavement of 330,000 square meters of 长安街Street and greened
布置了10组主题花坛，
2.53 million square
5座
meters,
月季花桥，
arranged
全面提
10
升
sets
了
of flower beds
长安街
and
的城市
5
景观，营造了
bridges
整个
featuring
有序
Chinese
的
flowers,
氛围环
Chinese
境。
roses, as well as
第二就是我们组
soil-based
织了
250,000 square
综合
meters
演
of
练，科学地组织
soil-based
的综合演练。
flower beds.
8月9号
Second, we
8月
have
16
conducted
号
comprehensive
8月
drills in
23
a science-based way. On the
深夜
9th, the 16th, and the 23rd of August, we have held 3
尽量
comprehensive
压缩
drills in the
天
late
安门
nights
广场的封控
and try to minimize
和封闭时
the
间。
time length for the control
演练
of
时，我
Tiananmen
们
Square and the
提高
construction
地铁使用的比例，
in that
采
area.
取地
We
铁
have
靠跑
increased the
方式运
usage
送各
of
类人员，
subway in
最大
transporting
限
various kinds of
限度地降
personnel
低对
and
地面
equipment
交通，
to minimize
特
the
别是
impact
中心
on
城区
ground
地面交通的
traffic,
影响。
especially the ground
我们
traffic
这
in the
些
central
大型的
part of
设
the
施
city.
设备
So
的
the
安
large
装和拆除
scale
都是
equips
运行
the
保障，
impact on the normal life
坚
of
持
the
不扰
people.
民、少扰民。
Third,
统
we
筹
have
纪念活动组
enhanced
织和城市
traffic,
运行的
smooth traffic in the
日
city.
常活动，一方
Try
面
to
精准规
avoid
划
any
管制区
disturbance
域和时长，
or have
提
as
前
little
向
as
社会
disturbance on the
发布
people's
管
life as
制措施，
possible. We
结合
have
道路交通的管制
released
公告，逐条路线
notice of
逐一车
traffic
站的
control
研
in
究
advance
运
to
行
the
管理
public
方案。
and
一方
adjust
面精
operational
准地
plans route by
掌握
route and station by
七站两
station.
场，所谓七站两场就是北京城市
On
现
the
在
other
的7
hand,
座火车站
we
和2
have
个国际机场。
accurate knowledge of the
商
passenger
村市
flow
场等重
in
重点
various
大
key
客
areas,
流地区的
including
客流
7
信息，
subways and 2 major
统筹
railway
加强
stations,
运
as well
力
as
的调
business
度保
districts,
障，
to
满
coordinate
足
the
市民的
transporting
出行需
capacity
求。
and ensure people's traffic needs.
第4方面呢，就是加强城市运行保障和
Fourth, we have
服务
enhanced
服务。
urban
对于纪
operation
念活动场
and
所
public
和周边
services.
开展
We have
隐患排
organized
查，
risk
发现
identification
并治理
campaigns
各类隐患问
on
题，
commemoration
先予
venues and its surrounding
在
areas
重点区域
and have
270处值守点
dealt
部
with
署了
1,000
应
and
急抢险
over
队伍，
1,000 risks.
组织开展
In
专项应急演练，
We
还
have
有专
organized
次，进一步提升了
553
处置能力。
emergency drills and
这些
deployed
都是
emergency
要全力
dealing
确保
teams in 270 spots. All of these measures are aimed at ensuring the safe and stable of the city during the commemoration. The Beijing citizens have a long-standing tradition of being able to see the bigger picture, so they offer us tremendous support during the preparation. They also have given us much understanding of the traffic control measures during the activities. In receiving the calls from the citizens, many of them simply just ask us about the time for the traffic control so that they can better coordinate their life. And they also speak highly of our various measures taken to minimize the impact that these activities have on their lives. So I'd like to, on behalf of the party committee, the municipal party committee and municipal government, I'd like to take this opportunity to say a big thank you and salute the Beijing citizens. Thank you. Thank you, briefers. Thank you, friends from the press. This is the first press briefing of the center, and that is the end of the press.